Okay, so we are on, and today I actually want to focus a little bit on something else, something that I don't usually show on my streamings or in my videos. That's because my own workflow works for me, and I don't really save a lot of things, and I don't really save a lot of things that I can actually show you. So with that in mind, I would like to just explain to you what is my workflow. Sorry, I really have to work this thing a little bit better. Okay, I think this is better. So I'm going to show you on this PDF what I actually focus on when I edit my photos, and I'm going to show you before the photo and the after photo as well. So I think that's quite important. All right, so again, I'm Jules, I'm Julia. Most people call me Jules, and this is fine. I'm very used to it, and portraits, self-portraits is my thing. I do it for a little bit of time now. It all started very accidentally, just so you know a little bit about me. You can check it out on my Instagram page. I am mostly let's say available there to chat about my work. It's just my number one media, social media. So anyways, I have prepared an before and after of my recent self-portrait photo shoot, and I was camping in the woods, and so this is the result. Yeah, so let me just, and this is the result. So right now I'm gonna show you before, the image before. My camera, my go-to camera is Nikon D850, and do I believe owning two cameras like most people? No, I actually don't. So even though I own about 4 or 5 cameras, this is my go-to. It's my main camera, and I use it basically for everything. And so this is the before image. So I was basically found this giant tree in the woods. I mean, I found it a long time ago, because my favorite camping spot is my go-to place. And then I thought, okay, how about I go camping and I take some self-portraits, and that worked for me. Of course, I had a crew of 5 people. We were also in 4 people in total, including myself. We were in the water, in the woods, and in some, some up on a tree, and some slime from snails, and it was just nasty. But it was good nasty, because we really had a lot of fun. It was raining all night, like downpour all night, and then a week before or 2 weeks before we had tremendous downpour here in Denmark, mostly in all the country, and the roads over there, they were blocked to the camping site. So unfortunately we had to move it, and here we go. We're moving the entire camping experience just so it will be drizzling the entire day. But we managed to do it the entire day, and it downpoured the entire night. As we were leaving, the sun came out. Of course, why not? And so this is the before image. So you can see I shot at ISO 320, because people usually ask, what settings do you shoot at? It doesn't matter. The settings, they don't matter, because then you go and you edit the photograph, so it really doesn't matter. You go up on the contrast and everything, or down on the contrast, and it just really makes absolutely no difference. So but if you really need to know, so ISO 320, f5.6, and shutter 1 over 100. So these were my settings. And so I tried a few poses, sitting on it, lying on it, being a little bit over here as well. Sorry, I have to show it here. Being a little bit over here, there was also a nice spot. And I had some few positions of myself in here as well, and a little bit different ones. So I'm gonna try to probably edit them as well. But I think this pose was the best, because that hand right over here was just a little bit creepy positioned, and I thought it was added an extra creepiness to the picture. So I really, really liked it. So I chose this image, I think out of 200, can't remember. But yeah, so this is it. This is the pose, this is the image. As you can see, the branch was right like over here. It was like huge log. These over here, they are the roots, and there's something that was up high, like a giant root as well going up or something. On the other side, it was really nice, but I couldn't really get there to take some photos. The other side showed a lot of roots. I completely forgot to photograph it and take it with me as a photograph, so I could use it later in Photoshop. But unfortunately, I forgot there were other branches in there that I thought, oh my god, they're so just the coolest thing ever. And of course, I forgot to photograph them. It was due to the whole rain and everything. It just threw me off completely. So anyways, let me just grab some water. So anyways, we can do the second slide, and then you can see what I'm actually focusing on the most. And when I say focus on, I mean Photoshop. I don't use that much Lightroom. I use Photoshop at 99.9% of the time that I work. I use Photoshop. Photoshop has both, editing things like, removing blemishes, and it's just better and top notch. Instead of just in Lightroom, when it's not so advanced and not so let's say advanced as Photoshop gives opportunities. Both are running now a little bit more on AI, but again, Photoshop and Lightroom. And Lightroom is the first kind of, let's say, AI. And it has existed now for 30 years, I think. About 30 years. So you can imagine you have been exposed to AI your whole life, basically. So yeah, I work on Photoshop. So let's go to the next. So I work in Photoshop, basically only, and I do everything in Photoshop, both light and, for example, removing skin blemishes and liquefy and so on and so forth. Yeah. Sometimes people are confusing when you say liquefy. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're liquefying a person. It can mean that you're liquefying a piece of fabric, or a dress, or some leaves. It doesn't actually have to immediately apply to a person, but that's just sorry, there is a commercial and it seems to be dragging forever, taking my music away from me. Okay, now we're back to music. I hope you can hear it. It's really nice music in the background. Okay, so this is my final image. So basically I had to figure out, I work a little bit old school, and my old school means that I write everything on piece of paper. Like, I have everything in front of me. I have a notepad that I have everything, the pictures right in front of me. I write down which picture I am editing. So it's usually file name, and this one is DSC0275, if that makes a difference for you. And then this is what I go by. I start from the top. I go with exposure. This one is actually, let's say, underexposed than what we had before. And let me show you what we had here before. So you can see this one is a little bit overexposed. It works fine, but it's a little bit overexposed. But I like it moody. I like it a little bit more darker, like maybe some something's about to jump out of from the trees. So this is what I like. So exposure, either overexposed or underexposed. Contrast, usually I pop the contrast. This one is actually at plus 80 from what I remember. I also go highlights. Sometimes it depends if I want to highlight if I want to highlight something or it's a little bit overexposed, like in this. On this picture, I think the dress is a little bit overexposed. It's not white, it's actually off-white, like a coffee cream color. But yeah, this one I can tell you, the highlights were at -65. Then I go for shadows. Shadows are all also the same. Do I want to enhance shadows or do I not want to enhance shadows? And I just basically play with the sliders. On whites and blacks, I do the same. It's like, do I want more black or do I want less black? Do I want more whites or do I want less whites? If I have a lot of whites in I don't necessarily want to go for that, you know, cheap bokeh look, because that's not it. That's just, you know, a lot of overexposed white balance. So I usually go down on the whites. Then I go to another section and I play with temperature. Now for me, temperature, I always take the temperature down from -5 to between -5 and -10. Always. Don't ask me why, I just like that style, that look. I will always go down on temperature. Vibrance sometimes. If I really want to go with something with the vibrance, then I would play around. Not always it works for me, but in this particular photograph, I just play with vibrance. Now, saturation. Saturation, I always desaturate my photos, always. And if it's going to be -10, -20, or if I'm gonna go for something -100, depending, but I always desaturate my photos. Now, texture as well. So we have texture, and you know what texture does. So you also will need to figure out if you want to have a little bit smoother that texture, or a little bit enhance that texture. And in this picture, I have enhanced the texture on +10. Clarity, I usually don't play around with clarity. I'll usually leave it, clarity and dehaze. But in this particular picture, I wanted to play a little bit around with clarity, dehaze, and I can tell you that on clarity, I went to 50%, so it gave a little 50%, 50 points up. So it gave a little bit more like a definition, especially I think to the dress. And dehaze, I gave -40. Dehaze is something that I rarely play around with. As well as vignette. Vignette only when I want to give that little bit more creepy look around, but I use it about 10% of the time of my work. Dehaze, probably 5%. So I can tell you I dehazed on -40 and vignette -33. Now this -33, I started off with these -27, but now I try to round up the numbers like 40, 30, and so on and so forth. But this one is -33. Let me move my notes so I can my mic, so I can tell you exactly what I have been working with. All right, and then we are going into the color. So I figured out that if you play around a little bit with red, orange, and yellow, and usually desaturate all those colors, your skin becomes kind of like like a dead person's skin. As I did my gray, and I can actually show it to you. Hopefully it will show me. They were pinned to the top, but now they're no longer pinned to the top. Let me see. Okay, so for example this one, yeah. I figured that if I play around with this one a little bit, so I have here and a little bit on my hand, it just kind of looks like a little bit starts to decompose, like something starts to decompose. So I like it very much, as well as in here. Like if you get those feet over here, and the hand, and this hand right over here, the fingers, especially the feet. So it basically looks like you are, like the body is a little bit decomposing. And I think I like that very much. I like that very much. So I started playing around with it every time that I edit photos. So that is now my go-to. So red, orange, and yellow. Basically, if you go like -100, you will get that skin tone that something is happening there with the skin, and like it's maybe decomposing or in that mindset. Then in this one, because there's a lot of green on the photograph, there's like a lot of green because of course we were in the forest. I wanted to take that green a little bit down, but keep in mind I've already desaturated the entire image. So sometimes if I would want to enhance that entire image, only certain things, so you're only desaturating or saturating later, for example, the greens and the blues, and then separately. They will only affect your greens and blues, and so like each individually. So green was at +30. I wanted to actually give that a little bit more +30, that green, a little bit more of that vibrance to it, but not too much. I don't want to keep it too vibrant. I want to keep it really, really nice and, nice and slow, just to take it easy. Right, and then so what did I say? +30. Aqua, I gave it to +10. It gave me really like a minimalistic bluish tonation there, especially when I played around with the dress and I started taking the temperature down. I started getting that dress a little bit bluish, so vibrance helped, and then of course the greens and aquas and blues, they helped me to get that blue dress a little bit enhanced. So we basically changed the color of the dress without doing too much alterations in Photoshop. So aqua was at +10. Sorry, let me get some water. Now blue, because there is not that much blue on the image, I decided that some blue started popping out on the dress, so I gave it 100%. So blue is at 100%, and then something happened that slightly showed like a purple tonation when I started playing around with the colors. So the purple, I could see a little bit around the trees. I don't know how it came out, but somewhere around here I started noticing a little bit of purple. So what I did, I took it down to -70, and that basically worked for me. So there was, and so you have the entire image. Now I do recommend that people actually use Photoshop and try to figure it out all by themselves, how they would want to do it. But you do it however you want to do it. I mean, whatever rocks your boat and whatever helps your image. I mean, and in the end, don't be afraid to just play around with the image itself. Now I hope you enjoy the video. I will show you before and after with another image that I used, and as I used the base formation for it, let's say base color for it, from this series, it came out just a little bit differently, a little bit more picturesque, because I made some alterations that I didn't actually write. I didn't write them down. Because the third image that I wanted to do is, I think it should be a little bit different. So that was my idea for the image itself. I would like to invite you to either subscribe or to mainly to like my Instagram post. I will be signing up with an agency in New York City, so all good times now are going to change. I will be responsible, of course, as always, selling my own photographs, but the prices will be fixed. And no more Mr. Nice Guy. I won't be able to sell them at any discounted price. So just keep in mind with that. And I'm super excited to announce that someone requested to decorate her entire apartment right here in Copenhagen with all my photos and only my photos. So I really would love to see that apartment and everything is completed. So yeah, that's it. So I do invite you to come into my Instagram, talk to me, chat with me. I'm very chatty. So